What's up, guys? Welcome to the GSL Code S. We're back on our usual Wednesdays, and a quick reminder, we will be on again tomorrow, same time, same place. So 24 hours from now, we've had to move the schedule around because Lunar New Year is coming up, and definitely do not miss tomorrow.
Yes.
Scarlett will be playing.
Scarlett playing, that is so exciting.
Yes.
That is, I mean, it's a legendary achievement for her to qualify directly into Code S.
This is an historic moment in the GSL, a non-Korean in the round of 32.
Yeah.
How many years has it been?
2013, the beginning of 2013, and to be fair, no one has qualified through an open bracket since the 3 open seasons. I wrote a whole article on scdojo.tumblr.com, but like, and those were 64-man tournaments at the beginning of time where anyone could make it in if you got the right bracket. So, like, this is like a really, truly new thing. Yeah. Everyone else was seeded forever, and so the fact that she just busts right in and actually has good chances to go far, everyone should be tuning in tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a very special night. Tonight as well should be awesome.
Yeah, defending champion, world champion, and GSL champion ByuN is going to be playing. That's going to be very exciting.
All the Terran players that want to learn right now are tuning in. ByuN is an inspiration when it comes to his aggression, his micro. He is the bully Terran.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, he's pretty hard
Nobody
to stop.
beats back players as strong as ByuN does. I know Maru is obviously very scary, but I feel like the style and the feel and the tempo of the games is quite different.
They definitely are different players.
Maru definitely does a lot more. ByuN does a lot more with a lot less than Maru does at times.
Yeah, they play actually, like, they're both very aggressive and both very micro-focused, but you can see the differences in their play without doubt. But hey, we got an interview video, so I'll shut up.
일단 저는 아직 2016년이 끝나지 않았으면 좋겠어요. 왜냐하면 2016년에 너무 잘 됐기 때문에 2017년에도 계속 이렇게 이어졌으면 좋겠어요.
새해는 GSL 우승 트로피를 들어올리고 싶다 이런 생각이 드네요.
16강은 진짜 한번 가보고 싶고요. 꼭 가서 좋은 모습 보였으면 좋겠어요.
뭐 늘 새해는 오는 거지만 이번에는 좀 팀도 없는 혼자 게임을 하는 과정에서 맞는 거라서 좀 책임감이라든지 그런 게 좀 색다른 것 같고 대회에 임하는 각오 자체도 좀 다른 것 같습니다.
좀 처음 올라오시는 분들이나 약간 조금 저보다 좀 내일도 떨어지시는 분들 만나가지고 쉽게 올라가고 싶은 마음이 강하긴 하지만은 뭐 근데 그래도 잘하는 선수들 만나도 저는 그동안에 꾸준히 연습을 열심히 해왔고 그리고 자신도 있기 때문에 강한 선수를 만나도 딱히 상관은 없을 것 같아요.
32강은 일단 편안했으면 좋겠어요. 16강부터 진짜 무서운 형님들을 만나도 되니까 32강은 좀 편안하게 갔으면 좋겠어요.
선수들이 이제 그만두는 선수도 많아지고 좀 나태해진 선수도 많은데 그런 선수들을 좀 골라서 저희 조에 넣어줬으면 좋겠습니다.
제가 그러니까 종족 그런 건 가리지 않고 선수도 가리지 않고 그냥 일정만 가리는데요. 그러니까 좀 빨리 하지 않았으면 좋겠어요. 제 적은 그러니까 시간인 것 같아요.
운명이라 생각해요. 그냥 그러면 그런 거고 아니면 아닌 거라서 그냥 저는 제 갈 길만 가면 된다고 생각하기 때문에 신경 안 써요, 그렇게.
근데 솔직히 제 입장에서는 딱히 바뀐 게 별로 없거든요. 프로리그도 원래 참가 안 했고 개인 리그만 참가하고 있었는데 너무 걱정하지 마시고 저는 GSL이 있는 한 계속 승수생활 할 거니까 많이 걱정 안 하셨으면 좋겠어요. 저는 스타트가 없어지는 그날까지 절대 인터 안 할 거거든요.
게이머들의 행동이나 뭐 연습량 자체나 게임의 질 자체는 변함이 없기 때문에 경기를 보시는 데 있어서 좀 더 즐거움을 드릴 수 있도록 노력을 해야 되겠고요. 팬분들 입장에서는 또 즐거운 경기 보셨을 때마다 응원을 해주시는 게 가장 큰 힘이 될 것 같습니다.
저를 포함한 모든 스타크래프트2 선수들이 다 열심히 이렇게 할 테니까 팬분들도 앞으로의 GSL 경기에 많이 이렇게 찾아와 주셔가지고 응원해 주셨으면은 선수들 힘 받아서 열심히 할 테니까 많이 응원해 주세요.
이제 또 새해인만큼 뭐 하셨던 일, 뭐 하고자 하는 일 열심히 하셨으면 좋겠고 저 또한 누구보다 열심히 하고 있다고 자부하고 있기 때문에 다 같이 열심히 해서 좋은 한 해 보냈으면 좋겠습니다.
2017년에는 2016년 변현만큼 하는 것 모두 다 잘 됐으면 좋겠습니다.
새해는 열심히 하겠습니다. 죽을 만큼 열심히 하겠습니다.
마음속에 소원이나 이렇게 목표로 생각한 것들이 하나씩은 있으실 거세요. 새해가 끝나기 전까지 꼭 그 목표 이루시길 바라겠고 하시는 일 다 잘 되시고 그리고 무엇보다도 건강이 최고니까 건강 잘 챙기셨으면 좋겠습니다.
We will be going to the pregame interviews to see what their immediate thoughts and reactions are before we start this match.
하는 것만으로도 충분히 죽음의 점이다. 오늘 G조 선수분들 만나볼
Gary
텐데요.
says, so we have the
가장
defending
먼저
champion from this group. He's in Group G.
멋지고 화려하게 빛났던 별중의 별이죠.
The most successful player in
GSL 우승은 물론
2016.
블리즈컨까지 재패한
He won
별중의
the
별 변현우
GSL
선수
and he won
만나보겠습니다.
BlizzCon. It's ByuN.
안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 역시 반겨주시는 소리보다 다릅니다. 우승자 변현우 선수 잘 지내셨죠?
아니요, 요즘
How have you been?
못 지내고 있어요.
아, 왜 못 지냈어요?
요즘 연습하는데 너무 많이 져가지고 스트레스를 너무
So I
많이
lost a lot during practice. I've been having a tough time lately.
좀 그래요.
I'm actually a bit stressed out today.
그래요. 저희 너무 반갑고 오늘 너무 기대되는데 어쨌든 이렇게 GSL 시청자분들 오랜만에 뵙거든요. 새해 인사 먼저 부탁드릴게요.
네,
Can
일단
you say hello to all the fans watching?
새해가 좀 많이 지났는데 새해 인사를 오늘 끝나고 승자 인터뷰에서
So
하도록
it's been about 3 weeks since the new year.
자, 오늘 저희가 경기를
I'll say the New Year's
기대하고
greeting
있다고
after I win,
봤는데
though.
확실히 디펜딩 챔피언이니까
And when I'm doing the winners interview.
기대하는
So
게
you guys have to
큽니다.
win.
근데
Wow.
많이 지셨다고
But what if he
했는데
doesn't win? We don't get a New
왜
Year's greeting
지시는
from
것
ByuN
같아요?
3 weeks late?
일단 이미 한번
Why were you having a hard time during practice, Gary?
네.
한 판이라도 지면 뭔가 스트레스 많이
Since
받더라고요.
I've been at the top last
압박감이 좀
year,
심한데
I get a little bit stressed out if I lose anything, like any games at all.
해설가 좀 얘기를 나눴는데
네.
그 마인드로 한번 게임 하면 괜찮을 것 같아요.
아, 그래요.
네.
But
사실 표정이나
I
이제
talked to
오늘 봤을 때는
DRGLing and he's
굉장히
having fun
좋아 보여서
practicing.
사실
He's just excited to be
작년에
here.
변현우 선수 나오면 저희
So I wanna
라인
follow in his
시대
footsteps and
자동으로
go back to
나왔던
just
거
enjoying this.
기억하시죠?
네, 그래서 저는 그 음악 감독님한테 되게 감사하고 있어요.
네, 참 그 야인과 잘 어울리는 변현우 선수였는데 이제는 그 노래가 안 나올
He's
것
also saying
같아요.
thank you to the music
생기고
director
상도 생기고
because he's getting a song just for
많은
himself.
것이 바뀌었습니다.
I guess he requested the song.
그렇죠. 이제 안정적인 이제 연봉 지원 받으면서
네.
그러니까 안정감이 있어요. 좀 안정감이 생겼기 때문에 다른
네.
선수들보다는 좀 편하게 게임할 수 있는.
I'm in a new team. I'm getting a steady salary. I'm playing comfortably compared to last year, especially.
다릅니다. 자, 디펜딩 챔피언 변현우 선수 오늘 이만의 각오 들어볼게요.
네, 요 최근에
Tell us about
온라인에서
your
되게
goals
성적이
today.
안 좋은데 그래도 온라인이랑 오프라인 경기는
In
좀
recent
많이
online tournaments, I didn't
다르니까
perform that well,
지난
but online and offline, it's a different beast.
이 프리급 스튜디오에서 최후까지 남아있던 1인으로서 꼭 올라가도록 하겠습니다.
Last season,
네,
I was a
알겠습니다.
champion,
오늘 경기
so I really want to
기대하겠습니다.
perform well and become the champion again this time around.
자, 변현우 선수와 상대할 선수 이번이 첫 코데스인
Now to
선수여서
his
좀
opponent.
심적인 마음가짐이
It's his
어떤지
first Code S.
궁금한데요. 만나보겠습니다.
It's DRGLing.
동네 돌리 이원주 선수 만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요. 자, 이번 시즌 첫 번째 코데스 맞이하는 이원주 선수입니다.
It's your
먼저
first
소감
Code S.
들어볼게요.
What are you feeling right now?
지금도 꿈만 같고
This is like a dream to be here.
처럼 계속 올라오고 싶어요.
그래요. 꿈꾸는 것 같다. 근데 상대도 참 꿈같은 전 시즌 우승자 변현우 선수입니다. 딱 봤을 때 나의 상대인 걸 알았을 때 어떠셨어요?
How did you feel when you saw that your first opponent was ByuN?
그냥 좀 너무 슬펐어요.
슬펐어요. 슬픈 꿈.
I was pretty sad, to be honest.
그래도 확실히 이번 코데스 신인 선수들의 활약이 되게 눈에 띄었거든요.
The rookie
그리고
players
호흡도 그만큼
seem to be doing very well this season.
저도 이번에도 기대하고 있는데 호흡 좀
A lot of fans are looking forward to seeing you play.
글쎄요.
네,
상대들이
각오.
너무 잘하셔서
네.
Yes, that's true, but my group is really tough.
저도 빨리 따라가겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 오늘 활약 기대하겠습니다.
But I just got to keep up and do my
고맙습니다.
best.
자,
seems a bit
다음
nervous.
선수 만나보겠습니다. 몇 달간
can't
열린
really blame
메이저
him.
대회에서 꾸준히
You know,
상위권에
a lot of pressure on
Like, yes, I can. He's a coward too.
오랜만에 보는 스플라이스 김대엽 선수
Up next, our
만나보겠습니다.
very solid and steady Protoss player. It's Stats.
아, 오랜만이에요, 김대엽 선수.
It's been a long time.
네. 자, 이번 GSL 이렇게 시작하게 되셨는데 먼저 소감도 들어볼게요.
How do you feel to be in the GSL again?
일단 협회 팀을 나가고 이렇게 새로운 대회팀 찾아서 이렇게
I joined a new non-Korean team,
이렇게 GSL
so it feels new, it feels fresh,
하는 것 같은데 네, 잘했으면 좋겠어요.
네, 잘했으면 좋겠다.
and I hope it's gonna.
메이저
I hope
대회에서
we're gonna do well for my team.
상위권이셨기 때문에 오늘도 그 흐름이 이어질 거라 보는 분들이 많거든요.
You always
컨디션
perform
어떠세요?
steady and always got good results in the GSL. How about today?
어제 조금 늦게 자서 그런지 머리가 살짝 아픈데
네.
그 정도는 뭐 늘
Yesterday, I stayed up pretty late to practice. I've got a little bit of a headache right now,
네,
but
성적이나
I don't think it's going to affect my game at all.
성적이 보이고 있는 점에 비해서 GSL과는 다시 좀 인연이 없는 것 같아서 저도 약간은 아쉬웠었거든요.
Even though you
이번에
performed
좀
well,
깨야죠.
you don't have a championship in the GSL.
깨야죠.
그렇죠.
Are you in for one?
각오를 그럼
He says
마지막으로
yes.
오늘 들어보겠습니다.
Any closing thoughts?
제가 너무 이기려고 하다 보니까 오히려 경기가 안 되더라고요. 그래서 그냥
I was always trying too hard to win.
편하게 하고
I think that's been affecting my game in a bad way.
웃으며 돌아가겠다.
I just need to play more comfortably and
네,
confidently,
오늘
do what I
경기
practiced,
기대하겠습니다.
and it should work out.
감사합니다.
Okay, thank you, Stats.
자, 마지막 선수 만나보겠습니다. 작년
we're gonna go on to our
저희에게
next player, our last player.
분이죠.
This is-
오랜만에
it's our Terran
보는
player,
TES
ByuN.
게이밍 김동원 선수
Not to be confused with ByuN.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
자, 김동원 선수 역시 오랜만에 뵙습니다. 먼저 소감 들어볼게요.
네, 너무 오랜만이라서
How do you feel to be back?
뭔가
Yeah, it's been a long
데뷔할 때
time.
기분이 들어서 기분이 안 좋아요 지금.
And
지금
I had a lot to
기분이 안
practice and
좋다.
prepare for today.
그렇군요. 자, 오늘 죽음의 조로 꼽히고 있거든요. 어떠세요?
Says I'm just happy to be back here.
네, 죽음의 조라는 얘기는 많이 들었는데 제가 있어서
A lot of people are saying this is a group of death.
건지, 아니면 변현우 김대엽이 있어서 듣는 건지 모르겠지만
네.
좀
I don't think it's because of me, though. I think it's because of ByuN and Stats, to be honest with you.
경기력 이길 수 있는
But
경기력
I prepared really
나올 수
hard.
있었어요.
네.
I think I can do well, and I think I'm
변현우
confident
선수가
against every player.
하긴 했지만 3대2 박빙 승부를 하셨던 게 아직도 생생하게 기억이 나요. 오늘 제외하게 되셨는데 어떠세요? 다시 보신 소감이?
기분이 안 좋아요.
아, 역시나 안 좋다. 그래서 오늘
Last year you
저도
lost to ByuN 3-2.
네, 그럼 마지막으로 또
How was
이제
it to meet him again?
GSL
He
현역
says,
선수들 중 맏형이시더라고요.
I didn't really want to play him again, to be honest, so I'm a little bit bummed out about
네,
that.
뭐 나이는 뭐 저도
closing
어린데 그냥
thoughts.
게이머 치고 많은 편이기 때문에 별로 신경 쓰지는 않고요. 누구보다 준비도 열심히 해왔고 준비도 잘 해왔기
I'm
때문에
the
그게
older
오늘 좀
player in this
나아졌으면
league.
하는
I'm the
바람이
veteran,
큰것
but I don't think
같습니다.
my age is going to affect my play. I just want you guys to know I prepared hard. I'm going to do my very best and execute what I practiced,
감사합니다.
and that's going to do it.
자,
like
이렇게
ByuN looks
죽음의
like a
조에
bad boy.
임하는 선수들 만나봤는데요.
Well, I mean, he looks like what he is, which is like a trolly, sarcastic, cool guy that's really good at Terran.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Okay, let's see. What did Team Liquid say? ByuN wins. Stats over Young. Stats over ByuN. You guys are so crazy. I don't even get these. I don't even understand this.
I love watching you
I
call
don't-
out other predictions. I love this.
Well, I mean,
This might be one of my
I got
favorite
you.
parts of the entire show.
This is like
these
when
come up.
someone said
And
ByuN
watch-
would be innovation. They said that ByuN would be innovation. You saw what happened there? That's going to happen to Stats here.
By the way, the Korean predictions, I don't think this surprises anybody, really.
Yeah. See, those are accurate. Notice how ByuN's is higher than Stats. Oh my God. It's crazy, some of these predictions, man.
We're going to be going into this game number one shortly here. It's good to be back. I do want to.
Yeah.
I'm going to be saying this throughout the cast because our schedule has been moving around a little bit. We are broadcasting the next GSL day tomorrow, so in about 24 hours from this broadcast, if you're watching it live. So do not miss that because that's going to be super important. And forgive me, I'm probably going to say it 4 or 5 more times throughout this
Yeah, we wanna
several-hour
make sure you guys
broadcast
know,
because I know that some people tune in, have to go do something, or they're doing the laundry because this is a long
Or
broadcast.
have us muted. It's going to take him a while to read our lips. When is he saying that the cast tomorrow is switched?
I love StarCraft 2, but I hate these casters. That's why I play whale sounds instead of listening to any commentary.
Oh, man. But yeah, big holiday this weekend, so that would be why. But yeah, what do you think about the group tonight?
Well, I think result-wise, I'm assuming that ByuN and Stats get out. Now, DRGLing, let's see what happens. He's a really good player,
Yeah.
but we just don't know. I mean, it would just be really shocking and weird. It would probably be the biggest upset in the entire round of 32 if he actually got out.
Yeah.
I think he has to look at this as an opportunity to practice and feel what it's
Totally.
like to be up there and see that big audience in front of him like that.
Yeah.
And use that, bring that back to the tool kit.
Yeah.
And maybe come back later. ByuN, he can get out, but it's really tough. And, you know, I agree with what he said. He's a veteran player. He's certainly not bad. He does practice very hard. I've heard that from multiple sources.
Yeah.
This guy trains the hardest out of almost anybody you'll see. You know, ByuN was somebody who was almost a peripheral pro gamer years ago, and now he's a world champion. So definitely don't count somebody like ByuN out. However, ByuN and Stats have had really remarkable results as of late.
Indeed.
So with that being said, I'm going to go to my basic bro milquetoast predictions of ByuN gets out first and then Stats second. Hope I'm wrong. We got some shocking upsets.
That's a pretty fair thing to say. Like, I wouldn't be super surprised if ByuN sneaks out of this group as well, because you know he is in good shape, and PVT is pretty tough right now. So we'll see what Stats can get done with that. But Stats, I would say overall, is a higher level player at the moment.
Yeah.
JYP actually disagrees. He thinks that ByuN and ByuN will come out of this group tonight.
Well, JYP might know more information that's pretty recent here.
Here's the thing you got to remember too. JYP, he's actually a very good Protoss player still, like GM and Beef Creator in the qualifiers and stuff. So no doubt he's going to bet on every Terran winning.
But let's also not forget of the infamous JYP curse, where he's wrong all the time.
Yeah, that's
so
very
there's that as well.
That's very true.
Maybe he's jinxed him right now. We'll have to see. DRGLing, guys, this is a really special moment for him, and a special moment in the GSL. We actually don't get as many new players coming in here. So it's really exciting to have these guys. I know that sometimes Artosis and me are quick to dismiss them, and that's in part because we are pointing to previous results. We've seen these guys a lot, and we also don't know the psychology of this player.
Yeah.
Does he have performance anxiety? Did he sleep well the night before the match? Somebody like, well, I mean, you name it, a pro gamer that's been here all the time. Maru, Innovation. These are guys that have been here so many times. They're comfortable. When you put somebody in a new environment, unexpected results can occur. There is always the small chance, and it's rare that it is if you choke. There is a small chance that you take this, you use that adrenaline, and come out kicking ass.
Maybe so. You know, we did see DRG pop his head into Code A last year. He was one of the only new players that actually made it even that far. So, props to him, and I hope he does well. I did like how he said in the interview that he just needs to focus on himself and just try his hardest, and that's the only thing that he can really pay attention to. So I think he's got a good mindset going into this, but I think that this group is a bit much for him.
It's also interesting to hear ByuN talk about how he feels more stressed now than before when he loses, because he did win the last two biggest leagues in StarCraft 2. And you would think it would be the opposite. I'll talk about that more after we get this game going. Guys, tell your friends to join us. This is our first best of 3 tonight. ByuN versus DRGLing in this GSL Code S tonight. In the bottom right, in the blue.
Team expert, ByuN.
Not our best voice recording. What is the worst one we've had so far?
The one coming up here.
Okay. Oh, yeah, this one's going to be bad because they made us say the Korean word. Here we go. All right.
DRGLing.
Oh, no. Oh, it's so bad. All right, they're going to use different voice actors. They won't be using us next season. It's confirmed, I'm sure.
All right. Looking at this, okay, he's going to go for an early pull, so that's kind of interesting to see. But I don't know, man. It's just such a tough. Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Multiple racks Reaper on the way. Might be 3 racks the way that he placed that as well. So that's going to do just fine against quick Ling speed, I would guess, right?
Some people cheering ByuN.
Well, that will keep him alive. But what you were saying about ByuN being more nervous now that he's won, did you want to expand on that some?
Oh, that's right. Thank you. I would have forgotten to bring that up otherwise. Look, when you have pro gamers that start to really dominate, you would think that would make them so confident all the time, right? Because they're bringing all these results. But then there's this odd, well, not even that odd really, but this expectation that they're not going to lose. They're not supposed to lose. They're not allowed to lose. And the truth is that if you're the best of the best, you're still losing a decent amount of your games. There's actually a great quote long time ago, if you guys are familiar with the very first best StarCraft 1 player in the world, XDS Gur, also known as Guillaume Patry, who still resides in Korea and has his own TV show doing Korean stuff out here. He had this interview, and he said, the interviewer, it was on a mainstream TV show, they said, do you ever lose StarCraft games anymore? And he says, yeah, I lose all the time. They go, what do you mean you lose all the time? You're the best in the world. He says, if I'm not losing at least half my games or more, then I'm just playing with the wrong people. But at the same time, when you're losing like that, and this is going to ByuN now, and everybody expects you to win, one upset can be a huge blow to your ego. Yeah. Can immediately take you down a peg in everybody's opinion. And so he's actually playing with that pressure where previously, like in the GSL Code S finals, he was the underdog. He was the one everybody wanted to win. Now that's changed. Now he is the best player.
And you know, there's actually, like, you can find a lot of quotes like this from the realm of sports, where it's like, I mean, getting to the top is one thing. Staying on the top is a complete other thing. It is so difficult. This is where the battle really begins for ByuN, right? Like, he made it to the top. Can he stay up there? Can he deliver another championship? Because if you're a one-of, I can name a lot of one-of champions. Jockey, Seed. Like, and I mean, they're both still around and both pretty good. What about Sniper? You know, I mean, these are all great gamers, but they weren't able to stay on top, not by a long shot. And they aren't the ones that people are going to remember at the end of the day. It's going to be people like MVP, Nestea, MC, you know, the guys that won championship after championship after championship.
Yeah, it's when you win something, everybody's basically studying what you did, and then you could still come back and win again.
We had a huge curse for a while. Whoever would win GSL would be out in the round of 32 the next season. That went on for quite a while.
Well, when you think about it, when you win a round of, you win a GSL, there's so much information about how you played because all your games are on the record. It's a lot easier for people to study and practice against you. Oh, miscontrol there.
Yeah, bad rally.
That Reaper not in the rally to the group there actually ran right up. It's really important when you do these Reaper rushes, you don't lose any of the Reapers. Because the amount of damage they output goes up exponentially, and that's really the whole function of the build, is that you're leaning on the Zerg so hard while you're setting up your additional base.
This is, by the way, because we've been talking like a lot about kind of just the setup here of ByuN's pressure versus, you know, DRGLing rather, a DRG fan. He did make this idea because he's a big fan of DRGLing. But like, you know, the kind of new pressure that he has. But looking at the actual gameplay that we see here, it was kind of a very defensive opener by DRGLing, you know, going for the very quick speed, and now he's gone into, like, he's countered the 3Rex Reaper very well. And I do have to give him props that he's not trying to attack, because we've seen this in the past. If you try to attack ByuN when he's gone Reapers and you're trying to attack him with things like Ro.32, you're just going to lose it all. No one micros Reapers like him. He is another level with Reapers, and he will kill everything on its way across the map or shortly after it gets to his base. So I like the fact that this is actually just kind of like a slow defensive play coming out of DRGLing.
Another thing about ByuN as well is it's not just the Reapers that are the exception to the rule. His control of Marauders, I would say, is by far the best we've ever seen.
I don't know if I can agree with that.
No way. Okay,
I have to say I think that Maru is the best Marauder user.
Gosh, I don't know, man. I think ByuN's pretty crazy. Well, hold up. Oh! Actually forced to cancel.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, if you can get those Reapers in there and start to damage that early on. Nice transfuse, by the way, there on that Roach. Is he going to be able to get this drone? No, he does not.
Ooh.
Whoa. That
doesn't even get that last
crazy.
Reaper. That's painful. But, I mean, ByuN's micro is just so completely top tier. His Marines are just as decisive as anything in the entire game. And, you know, I mean, I would always favor him to win against just about everyone in the world, and this is no different. But, you know, the way that DRGLing is trying to go about this, just trying to, like, kind of weather this storm and get into a bit of a later game with this +1 carapace, I think there's, like, a lot of good ideas here for DRGLing, whether they work out or not.
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. He's definitely handling this pretty well. He is on top of his overall control, and that's a good indicator, especially when you're against somebody like ByuN, and especially with the, I guess you could say, lack of experience in comparison to ByuN. Sometimes players just freak out, man. They just fall apart. So I think DRGLing is doing a really good job. Let's see how he handles this initial push.
Well, he's about to have Roach speed. He has a few Ravagers left over, and he does have that +1 carapace, which is really important considering ByuN has a +1 attack.
Right.
So we'll see what he can get done. But with those grenades, like, this is where ByuN really shines. Later game usage of these Reapers, he's still very good with them. And let's see where he goes with these bounces.
Chucking some of those roaches forward. He's coming up here, covering through the top of this concave. More roaches over here. Corrosive Bile does come down, but hitting behind there. And with the control, he's not going to go right for the Ravagers.
Yeah, he's trying to pick up these very expensive units here, but overall, he does force him to at least lift off with these medevacs that go into the main base. Roach is going to come up very quickly, and the medevacs have to turn around. More and more roaches on the way, and it looks like DRGLing has held on for now, but like, he's sitting at a drone count equal to the SCV count, which makes me a bit nervous for him, considering he has no saturation on that third base.
Yeah, he hasn't really been utilizing that. Behind all this, ByuN's banked up a good army, so he's probably going to rotate around, drop this army along with the rest of the armies, and try to push in. This is what Terrans love to do. Oh, good catch here with the Overlord. A lot of times Terrans, just when they have the medevacs and they're out, especially this phase of the game, they come out, they pick a fight, and the moment they realize they're losing, they just pick up and leave. They take out as much as they possibly can, because with Stim they deal so much damage. But DRGLing is coming up. One siege tank up here is not going to allow that to come in any further.
Yeah, he made a lot of roaches and tried for this counterattack. And
oh, wow.
It's just absolutely doing nothing.
This is really bad.
That's, well, and here's the thing, too, because this kind of reminds me of what you were talking about a lot when we watch Innovation play. He's just lost too much. ByuN is going to kill him from here, for sure.
The thing is, I think in this situation, and this is just the nature of the matchup currently, and I'm not crying imbalance here, guys. I don't want to go on that direction, but it is very tough for Zerg at this phase of the game. If they exchange poorly, they're going to lose a lot, because they can't just pick up and run away like Terran can. Yeah, they have to survive this phase of the game in order to move on.
It's a good point, and actually something that's happening and Terran versus Protoss as well, where like when Terran whittles down a certain amount of units, Terran players are so good at this point, at this reinforce, at putting out these massive amounts of damage with pinpoint precision, that there's not a whole lot that you can do from here. Look, he's brought up 2 siege tanks. He's continuing to micro forward here. The Biles just will never connect with ByuN unless he wants them to.
The way that Terran wants to control this as well is to keep the Ravagers out of range of using the artillery to hit the tanks. Well, as I say that, I don't know why these tanks are just still here. Yeah. Okay, guys, but whoa, he's so good anyways. Okay, well, normally what happens is the Terran army is zoned in the front so that Corrosive Biles can't fire at the tanks and hit them. And then Zerg, if they ever do overextend, are only further punished by the splash damage on those tanks. But that was very good handling by ByuN. Losing those 2 tanks would have been pretty huge.
Yeah, no, that was a great save, you know, kind of making up for the mistake of leaving those there siege for so long. But Infestors are on the way, so ByuN not killing DRGLing off yet. It's like ByuN is playing super, super safe. I almost feel like he could have just continued to whittle down and continue to rally across, but going back, kind of regrouping, making sure his third base is secured.
Right.
I mean, these are smart moves by ByuN, but it does give DRGLing this little chance. Fungal goes very well with Corrosive Bile.
Well, and Fungal is the point in time where, you know, we were talking earlier about how it's tough for Zerg to handle the onslaught of Marines and Marauders coming in there when they can be picked up by medevacs. And it's hard to get medevacs with Corrosive Bile. It's hard to get most stuff with Corrosive Bile.
Yeah.
But then when Infestors are out here with Fungal, that's when it's now the Terran that has to be really careful.
Yeah.
Terran over and extends, and Zerg just eats through that and really doesn't suffer losses.
Yeah.
It's not even like your 2 armies clash and then you come out ahead. You can actually catch them in such a way that you pretty much don't lose much of anything.
Yeah, if you get that fungal just right. Ooh, this is not necessarily
that was on
great.
move command for a second,
too. Okay, he gets a fungal off, but the Biles, well, some of them actually do end up landing right there, but that was super, super bad. Like, he walked way too far forward there. The tanks were already sieged. This is rough. Okay,
good fungal there.
Yeah, he didn't have any Biles to back it up with, though, unfortunately.
That's right.
ByuN is trading more efficiently here than DRGLing so far.
Yeah, good dodging back there by ByuN on some of those Corrosive Biles. But you could see, especially off creep, it's tricky, right? If you don't get the combo off with the fungal and the Corrosive Bile, then Terran is going to punish you. Note that ByuN did scan the center left. I believe he already knows about this base at the top center, right? He probably scanned there. There it is. So now he knows he has to push up here, and this is one of the most critical points in this matchup. In these, in a setup like this, Zerg has to keep the 4th base up and running. Otherwise, Terran smashes the 4th base, macros up, and comes in here and smashes the 4th base again. With the siege tanks here, far enough away, it's hard for the Corrosive Bile to properly be utilized. We have to fire that at the infantry that then back up.
Yeah, throwing down a ton of Corrosive Biles, just nothing really connecting. All the roaches going down, which means these Ravagers are not long for this world. Going to be targeted down by ByuN.
Yeah.
That should be just about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he gets the hatch, and I don't believe that Zerg recuperates from this.
No.
Especially when you lose that many Ravagers. That's another one of those big indicators. If you're not sure where the game is, GG. If you're not sure where the game is, you come in, and you just look at how many Ravagers were killed compared to how many key units for Terran, like medevacs or tanks in this case, and there were a lot of Ravagers killed.
Yeah, you know, I really feel like it was that earlier attack with the Roaches and Ravagers after holding, you know, like his third got canceled. He's like, okay, I've made a bunch of Roaches. Let's go attack. He lost a lot of units right there. A lot. And it felt like from there, ByuN just had such control. As long as he hits his macro rounds and micros well, keeps the pressure on, it's very tough for DRGLing to do anything from there.
The Roach Ravager army is pretty scary because it is so beefy, but it doesn't always lack mobility as far as retreating. You really have to pick your fight correctly.
Yeah, that's very true.
And then run back.
Yeah.
And he got perhaps a little bit too greedy, although it is a tough call. Also, you don't really find Terrans that are actually macroing at the rate of ByuN.
Yeah, ByuN.
So that might have worked better in practice, but then against ByuN, he just suddenly has more. That's why he's winning all the important stuff in 2016, and he's here to win again in 2017. ByuN with a 1-0 lead. This is game number 2, ByuN versus DRGLing. In the upper right, in the blue.
Team expert, ByuN.
Looking very strong in that first game.
Yeah, he's looking super scary. In the bottom left.
DRGLing.
So, the great DRGLing. I do want to mention strategically from ByuN in that previous game. That's actually something that you see very veteran players do against very new players almost all the time in Korea. If there's a player that hasn't really played on the stage, they'll generally rush them in the first game because it can make you just fall apart. Like holding off a 3-Rax Reaper, you have to have very precise micro and whatnot, right? Like you have to be really on top of everything, and if you have any nerves, that can throw you off hugely. And I think that he probably chose that strategy to open because of that.
Yeah, I've heard this before. This is like an old technique, but if you think you're way better than your opponent, just engage them first with something. You don't have to kill them, but just engage them, because especially if they're nervous, that's kind of the moment when reality sinks in. Like, okay, our armies are fighting. I can't lose this stuff.
And if anything goes wrong, a lot of times that less experienced player, lesser player that thinks he's lesser than you is going to play right into that and have more mistakes and fall apart a bit. You know, there's so many of these mind games that exist in StarCraft 2.
We have the Roach Warren coming down here. DRGLing opening up very differently this time around. He wants to respond immediately.
It's kind of interesting that he's going for that so quickly. It is going to be on 2 bases, so it's not like super duper Alec Trooper all in, but
this is really hard for Zerg to ever pull off correctly.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised he left those 2 lings there. It's pretty tough to actually get the Reaper with 2 lings. Even if you surprise him.
Yeah, like ByuN would have to not micro at all, but you know what? He like bought some time there. The later the Roach Warren is scouted, the more powerful this rush will be.
You're so smart, Artosis. I love what you just said there.
But like buying that time at all.
Marry me. You're such a good caster.
Oh, tasteless. Are you trying to use charm on me like you're a Pokemon?
Okay, well, he sees the first Roach hatching. But yeah, I think you are correct. Just keeping the Reaper back a little bit further so that you don't immediately account for the fact that Roaches may be coming at you.
Yeah, it does buy a little bit of time. It's only 4 Roaches, it looks like, total. So he'll probably just make these into Ravagers eventually, right? Like let him take a little bit of damage, turn into Ravagers, and just do some of this corrosive bile harassment that we see. Yeah, there's that first one. 2 Hellions just running by. Look at that. This is kind of like a skill tester for DRGLing. And immediately pulls those drones back, both queens the ramp. This is a really good response because ByuN is not going to have as many units at home because of this. Look at that. What's he going to get? Like a drone?
You know what's funny about this? There's a Brood War build that looks a lot like what Zerg's doing, except with lurkers. You know, when you come out here and just get a few of these, and you try to come up here and rush. So he's going to fire some of that corrosive bile up here and hit that depot. Now when he gets the Overlord over here, he can shoot up onto the high ground. It doesn't seem like the Reaper and the Hellion have done that much, but they did deny mining there at the second base, which is something. I mean, especially when you consider that Terran can't mine from his second base.
Yeah, and look, like ByuN lifted off his command center and got a Banshee. A Banshee kills infinity of this.
Yeah,
so
as long as you can control it. So this is one of those moments where you can see ByuN has kind of experienced everything that Zerg can try to do early on. Yeah. And the moment that ByuN saw this rush coming out, immediately his mental algorithm switches into this build.
Yeah.
Says, okay, this is going to hard counter this easily.
Makes the Banshee and like chases everything back. Like at first I'm like, oh, he's sending the Hellions across. Might that make this scary for him? But the fact that he just has no SCVs is natural and he has a bunker up, he's like, well, you know, maximum, what am I going to lose? Like 2 supply depots? That's fine. The Banshee gained so much value there. Now he's down to, you know, getting his expansion going. Like everything's perfect.
Dude, this build is actually so sick from ByuN. Look at this. He's going to supply block the Zerg, the exact counter. He didn't really lose anything because he didn't lose the Hellion and the Reaper. He's going to have a tank, these Marines, and the Banshee here. Keep in mind, he killed all 3 Ravagers, right? He had to.
Yeah,
he killed all 3 Ravagers. So Zerg doesn't have anything that he initially invested in. This actually might just kill the Zerg. This is just a really, really solid build here.
Yeah, even if this doesn't 100% kill him, like, look at this. He's forcing a ton of roaches out right now. He's dealing a ton of damage here. Going to be able to pick off even maybe a queen.
Yeah, he's forced 12 Lings out. Ling speed's about to finish. Now, Terran is continuing to push, which is worrisome. It seems like Zerg did at least see that coming out, so it wasn't completely caught off guard. But if Terran's moving out now with this, I'm worried it's going to get surrounded by Lings. I thought he was going to stay back.
Yeah, this push is going a little bit far because it is Speedlings, but I think that DRGLing is playing into what he did in the first game, right? His image, because he went for Roach Ravager in that first game after opening up with the Roach Warren. But here, switching back into Speedlings, that's going to do much better against a Siege Tank base comp.
Okay, is he going to be able to get this one tank? It looks like he doesn't. The tank is still around. The Queen is now coming forward. With that second tank alive, it's a big problem here for the Zerg, especially if you can keep these this Viking and these 2 Marines just alive for as much. Oh, that was sick. Ooh, Viking like backflips into the air back there. Well, there's not much to defend here, but I got to say he has shaved off a decent amount of the Zerg's army throughout this. And it doesn't seem like there were any reinforcements. No, I'm sorry, there were no reinforcements coming in behind that. So maybe Terran's banked up a decent army sitting back like this. But when you look at the workers, it's 40 to 40, I think it's 46, now 49, with Terran in the deficit. So Zerg's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, totally. I agree with you on that. Like, it opened so poorly for him, but the switch into Speedlings is really kind of tricky. Like, if he had stayed on Roach Ravager, the cost efficiency of that Siege Tank attack we just saw would have been so much higher, but the Lings at least clean it up for him and get him into a position where he can, you know, try to macro and try to get into a unit comp that'll fare fine in a longer game here.
So now Terran goes into what we generally see Terran doing in this matchup. They have 2 medevacs full of Marines. They dive on the Zerg, wait for the Zerg to try to respond, and usually they're, in this case, responding with Lings. You shave off as many Lings, pick up the Marines right when the fight starts to not be in your favor, back up, get another position, and do the same thing over and over. And if you're like Innovation, you usually do that 2 or 3 times, and then the Zerg lost too many Lings in one of those fights. Whoa.
That's a lot of Lings, though, and with 4 Queens coming up, he can start putting a lot of damage on these medevacs. Look how low that medevac's hitting! That's a full medevac goes down. That's a huge pickoff.
I have to say, I was really surprised when we saw ByuN Stimmen run in that far with the medevacs behind. Normally, Terran errs on the side of caution, just waits for them to come in. That was on top of creep.
Yeah. He's expecting more mistakes than DRGLing is making, and DRGLing just had +1 carapace finish before that engagement as well.
Yeah.
Everything going very well for him. Now he's got that 1-1, 2-2 on the way immediately. Baneling speed. This is looking good.
Catches that Widow Mine as well. Looks like he does not want to overextend there, especially since there are medevacs. He can pick up and pull out the SCVs if the Terran starts to lose the fight. Good call there by DRGLing. Continuing to pump out his upgrades. And we have a drone now headed down here to the 4th base, which will be denied, but that does tell us DRGLing is propelling forward economically and wants to secure a 4th base. Will do that once he just zones out this small army at the bottom right.
Yeah, he'll force that to lift off and get out of here, at least for now. Spire on the way, and you know, ByuN, look at this, though. This is one thing I really like, is that ByuN is behind in upgrades. DRGLing has stayed very much on top of this. He's going to have his Baneling speed before this attack comes down. And even though his creep spread isn't perfect on the side of the 3rd base, like, he's got enough right now that I'm not afraid of him dying to this push.
This is like the tortoise and the hare, Artosis.
Oh?
You know, I mean, we have ByuN trying to end this really fast and go as quick as he can
Yeah.
engage in here. The tortoise won the race.
No, turtling is always awesome.
Yeah, it works.
Like, slow and steady.
What if we
That's the
found
way
out that turtle was blood doping like Lance Armstrong?
Poor turtle.
Oh.
Well, you
No, but,
try. I mean, that's the sad thing about the turtle, right? You try to do that, and the needle just breaks off against the shell.
That's right. Terran's continuing to try to push down here. But yeah, I got to say, DRG actually has a lot more patience in this game.
I have this thing in my head of like the turtle going on trial, and it's like if the needle does not fit, you must acquit, and like the needle just breaks against the shell. It's like, well, I mean, you could just do it under the arm. Come on.
Who would have thought Lance Shellstrong was cheating? The turtler who was blood doping.
Oh my God.
He's going to come down here now, and I think this will be a denial on the fourth base. Actually, I'm sorry, not a denial. It's finished. Well, hold on. He's got to get a good angle here. God, he's good at clicking on those banelings.
That was pretty fantastic, getting every single baneling right there.
Look at how good his targeting is everywhere. Well, maybe we spoke too soon. I mean, I think ByuN was overextending a lot, but it does seem like he is just got so much pressure on the other player. In fact, yeah, he'll have to unload over here.
That was a really sneaky move, bringing the mutas over that Widow Mine so that he could actually pick them off as they chase down these medevacs. Yeah. It was a good try, and he does have this other drop going on, so that is gaining him some value throughout this.
Yeah, he might actually have to drop on the high ground here. Yeah, there it is. He's going to try to fight these mutas. This is really tricky for ByuN. He's doing a pretty good job trying to escort these medevacs back home. Meanwhile, ByuN still continuing the drops as much as he can to draw the Lings back here into the Zerg's territory. And yet another push. ByuN is a machine. By the way, now ahead in supply as this game moves forward.
We're going to need some great baneling connections here for DRGLing if he is going to make something happen. Here comes ByuN. A lot of units there are tied up in upgrades, but there's not enough banelings right now, really. The strength of this map is if ByuN really tries to attack the fourth, there's not a lot of places you can run. You come down 2 ramps with Ling Bane, and you better hope your Widow Mines get some magnificent connections.
Yeah, he's edging in. This is actually one of the harder parts on the entire map for Zerg to engage into properly, especially when the Widow Mines are just set up right. ByuN's got a really good spread, too, and he's actually hitting these baneling. Oh, well, never mind. They're going to finish, but
that is
they didn't get to get in the position they wanted to. More banelings coming up, and a good Widow Mine hit there. Takes out most of them. Are there enough Lings and Mutas? It looks like there are.
Yeah, you will be able to push this back once more. ByuN does have a pretty big army at home still, but DRGLing is holding on to 4 bases, which, you know, that's a very important step in this game right now.
God, more reinforcements coming up now. He does take out that one medevac. Medevacs have been reduced constantly in this game. You know, ideally, Terran wants to have a lot more over here so that each unit has its own personal healer, or at least the ones in the front that are going to be taking the damage. I think he's only got 3 pushing down now, but ByuN is not letting up. I mean, it's going to be up to DRGLing to survive this pressure for the foreseeable future. Man, he's good. Yeah. He's really good.
I love
this.
These
is pretty
moves.
sick. He's just going to micro him back here behind the minerals.
But look, I do want to give a shout out to DRGLing. He has very little creep on this side, so he's making 3 spines, which is not like a super common move, but it will slow anything down there and give him time to react. Whereas the other areas, you know, he does have that creep, so it has a little bit better time defending overall. But
I agree, Artosis. I think this is a smart move to try to sandbag the Terran push, buy as much time as you can, because he just needs to hold on to this. Another big engage coming up here. It looks like there might, there's definitely going to be enough Marines here with those reinforcements coming in to engage those mutas. And a lot of the Widow Mines still alive. He could start pushing perhaps from another direction, rotating here to the right side of the map.
It's looking like this is not going to end well for DRGLing in this game. ByuN has way too much down here right now, starting to push through this massive area of creep. But I do have to say, DRGLing put up a very good fight after, you know, that Banshee kind of wrecked all of his early game plans.
This is kind of like when you watch 2 guys who are arm wrestling and one guy seems to have the lead, but then slowly the other guy, the other guy just uses that strength and hangs on.
Well, the Banshee took out 4 of his fingers, and then he still held on with his thumb for a bit. But eventually, you know, ByuN was using both hands, and that was the end of that.
He did better than I would have done. If I'm in a bar and somebody asks me to arm wrestle, that's when I say, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, this is not my scene.
This is not my scene. Look, this is gonna sound weird, but congrats to DRGLing against ByuN, even though he lost. They were good games.
Yeah, I liked a lot of what we saw.
Yeah.
And The thing is, this is his very first match on stage. Maybe he can put out some better games a little bit later time. Not holding out any hope of him getting out of the group right now.
Right.
But this is another promising up and comer that we have in the Code S this time. Like we've had Billowy, we've had Armani, we've had Nightmare, and now DRGLing. Like these are some cool players.
We're gonna go to a short break. We come out. Our next best of 3 of tonight's GSL Code S.